Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from CLASH Daytona. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by NASCAR Foundation, Daytona International Speedway, USA Triathlon, Aquasphere, and Varlo. Our next guest coming off a really good season. Won Augusta 70.3, Chattanooga 70.3, second in CLASH Miami, second at Alcatraz. Mr. Jason West joins us. How you doing, Jace?
I'm doing good.
Being back at a racetrack, man. We saw the American Sweep last year in Miami. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't here in Daytona last year. I think I ended the year a little earlier, but yeah, I think it's my third time here, I think. So happy to be back.
So we've chatted before about, okay, you've done lots of 70.3s. Is it time to go long? And what are you thinking?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, if I don't have to, I think I got to really it's got to really make sense.
Because it changes everything. It's hard to balance doing 70.3s and then fulls and the training blocks and recovery.
I think the trainings, it is a lot different. I don't know that I'd necessarily need to train more because we already train quite a bit.
Yes.
It's just the types of sessions you're doing and stuff like that. And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I can have a lot of success at this shorter distance stuff at PTO distance, 100K, yes, and there's a lot of opportunity, I just, I don't see any reason to jump long other than, I mean, it seems like it really benefits your ranking, and if that's something you really care about and you're after, then you can do it. But it's not something I really worry about too much or anything. Right. It doesn't really motivate me a ton or really do it for me. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I will do it eventually, I think. For sure, I think I've come to a place where evenchally I'll get there. But yeah, I've got so much time that. Well,
it's a good era to be a professional triathlete because you do have the opportunity of challenge, clash, PTO, Ironman 70.3.
I mean, I feel like I'm coming into probably the next 5 years or probably the prime of what I can do maybe.
Absolutely.
In the sport. And yeah, it's the sport's growing. There's so much opportunity, and when I look at the schedule, and I'm just holy crap! There's so many races I want to do that I'm probably gonna have to do to not go to do some that I would like to.
Exactly.
So it's at that point, if I'm already pulling races off the schedule because there's so much, it's why try to jam anything in there? And the beginning of the year, there's still a bit of short course Olympic distance stuff, and I've always loved that. So I want to be able to do that, and then there's the PTO races, and there's CLASH events, and there's Worlds, and it's just man, it's whew. So it's a lot.
Yeah, which is based on what we went through with COVID.
Amazing.
It's so nice to have racing back again. When you look back at your racing, what do you look at as the best race?
Oh man, it's tough. 'Cause some days you win, and you'd think that would be the best day.
Right.
But when you look back at it and you're I don't know if that was my best race. It was just maybe my best result.
Right. Yep.
And
then other races you might have gotten second to somebody, but you were on fire.
They're not always
might have been a great race.
I mean, when I won North American champs this year, that was just such a big deal for me.
Yes.
But to be honest, I didn't feel like it took anything that I hadn't shown before. It was just a good race for me, the perfect course for me, things like that, and it just kind of worked out. I almost felt like I raced better at Augusta. It's just there weren't many more eyes on it or anything like that, but it was if you looked at the sheer numbers of it, it was that was one of my best races of all time. But nobody's going to talk about a little one, right?
Yeah, so, they're going to talk about the championship.
So it's tough. It's when you ask what's the best race, it's was it your performance, was it your result,
or what it meant to you?
Yeah, or
it
what
might
it
have
meant
been.
To you. Yeah, it's so there's each one is different, right? And I've learned to not take them for granted because you never know when you're going to have that last performance that's incredible or that last win, and you just never know. So. But yeah, I mean, I think I have a lot of really good stuff ahead of me. I think I'm super motivated for the future.
Yeah.
I think I can be at the top, and yeah, it's just gonna take a lot of work to get there. But I think I got a lot of good stuff ahead of me.
You're used to that. How have you changed over this last couple of years as an athlete?
I don't know. I think it's when I moved into long course and non-draft and things like that, I had to start working on the bike so much more and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my outlook on things is a little bit different.
Mhm.
I'm not just going after like this race or that race and like kind of grabbing what's in front of me. It's more just like the way I approach training, the way I approach the
Mhm.
sport, things like that have changed. Like I just love bettering myself and working hard a little bit more
Right.
now. Whereas like, I don't know that I might enjoy training more actually than I did. Which is weird.
Well, 'cause you're
I've done
you're
so
getting good
much
results.
of it, and well, it's just like I kind of enjoy the process of it all
Mhm.
a little bit more than I
Right.
used to. I think before it was just like train to try to get that result, and now
Right.
I really love kind of the work of it and trying to get better and things like that. And yeah, just my attitude of just never being complacent and trying to get better. And
Right.
yeah, I think it's started to suit me really well the last year. So
What is in terms of the Chattanooga course? Obviously, you do well there. What is it
Yeah.
about that place?
I don't know. I think that whole region, I seem to like a little bit warmer, humid, seems to help a lot. Like every year I've gone to St. George and my asthma just blows up, and it's just like, unfortunately, Worlds has been there the last couple of years, and it's just like I go and I feel like I'm a terrible athlete, and it's just like, oh my God. So happy to not be going back there next year. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, those courses, like, they're just, you end up with more tactical racing, I think, which coming from an ITU background, I really like. I don't necessarily like to be out there for 2 hours on my own, just kind of like mashing away. It's a little bit more interesting. There's some group tactics. There's guys attacking. It's just a little bit more engaging, and I really like that. So yeah, that kind of stuff tends to suit me pretty well.
What's the challenge of this course for you?
Oh gosh, trying to stay in those bars for that long. Every year that I've come here, it's just been like you get off the bike and oh my God, your hamstrings are just so wrecked. And I think it was the first race I ever walked in. It was the first time I did it. And I got off the bike and I just like I started jogging. I just couldn't run because like I was so locked up.
Yeah.
I ended up like it just. Now I know after doing it enough times, it's like, just give me 5 minutes.
Just let the legs
it'll loosen up, and then it comes around. But hopefully now I've had more time on the TT bike, and I've been doing this long course stuff a bit longer. It's only 60K, but it's really challenging to stay in those bars, same exact position like that. So hopefully I'll be a little bit more prepared for it this year. And yeah, it's just, I think these races are really like cyclist races actually, because it's just you're just mashing away so hard.
Well, and it's who can get off the bike and run. And last year in Miami, you had a great run.
Yeah, definitely. And that one, like, I had a really great ride that day. I was most proud of that. I ran really fast, but I rode really well that day, and that put me in position to have a great result,
run,
you know. So yeah, hopefully do that again and maybe have a little bit more of a complete race, swim a little bit better, ride well and run well, and yeah, who knows, see what happens. Yeah.
Always a pleasure to chat with you, Jason. Have a great one on Friday, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Knock 'em dead.
Thanks.
Jason West has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob from beautiful CLASH Daytona. Hold on, we will be right back.